Hello everyone and welcome to another game of World of Warships. Today's replay is from Technophile and he's in the Yamato, the tier 10 Japanese battleship. He's on the map Shatter in a 3-point domination game mode. It's a tier 10 battle with not so many tier 10s. And well, the friendly team just got an early lead here. Now this battle's already been progressing for a bit, but nothing really happened so far. Technophile started on the left side of the map and their team decided to take the center point and the right point. So all he's done so far is sail pretty much towards the friendly team. Now something else that I want to mention is that on the 18th of February, so on this Saturday, there will be another contributor event. So some fun battles with NA and European contributors. There should be a detailed announcement about that sometime this week. But just a little heads up. Now back to this battle. So friendly team managed to secure the center. And there is still a lot of hard fighting here on the right side. Now it looks like there are quite a few enemies here. But the friendly team should have numbers on their side, I guess, so they probably will take Charlie in the near future. Unfortunately, the enemies are already pushing hard towards the center, so it's not like the enemy battleships went to the one line, which you often see. Looks like the enemy battleships made a smart move, and generally the enemy team that captured A is now pushing to take the center. Now Technophile finally arrived here and can hopefully lend his guns to this fight. And he is directly going for the center. They need to defend the center, there is too much coming in, but there isn't. I'm afraid there isn't that much they can do. If this destroyer here in the north gets pushed out of the cap, and it looks like he's taking heavy damage, so he must retreat. It's possible that he is getting radared. Anyway, I think he is in a pretty bad spot here, caught between the enemies, so I think they'll lose their destroyer here. And so there is no way they can hold the center. Technophile is vastly outnumbered against those enemies. And the enemies are pushing hard. Now they managed to take Charlie, and there is still some fighting here in the north. It will take the friendly team a while to rally here more towards the center. So it's not looking that good currently. They are one ship behind and very soon they'll be a point behind. And taking this center point can be really tricky. Because there are so many islands around, there are so many ways to get ambushed by somebody with torpedoes. And there is a New Orleans here coming, who is showing broadside. But he is not shooting the New Orleans because of this Fletcher. This Fletcher is now coming around this island. That's pretty bad, because at 4 kilometers there will be a wall of torpedoes that you can't dodge. So instead he held his fire, he's now ready for the Fletcher, and the Fletcher is on rather low hit points, so down goes the Fletcher. And that's a threat dealt with. Now the friendly team is doing a good job of sinking the other leads. And Technophile is reversing here. I mean, again, there are just too many enemies, he can't really push in there. If the enemies push against him, he might be able to back up enough so that he has some cover against a few of the enemy ships, and then he can deal with the Izumo and possibly the Des Moines here, and afterwards he can push forward again. So there is one enemy battleship, I think it's a Missouri, who is backing him up. And the majority of the friendly team is probably engaged with those ships here in the north. Now, unfortunately, this Izumo is in the process of turning, and yep, it looks like he was too well angled here. So might have been an idea to go for the Des Moines instead, but the Des Moines is already retreating. The Des Moines doesn't want to push. If the Des Moines would have pushed here, they could have taken out the Des Moines, which would have been pretty sweet, but it looks like the Des Moines was smarter than that. And this Izumo Well, I mean, this sumo is now out of support against the Yamato, and yeah, it's a Missouri here. Unfortunately, the Missouri is taking some heavy damage because the Missouri, I think, can get shot at from the center, where there is still the Yamato and the Des Moines. And pretty soon the Missouri will be broadside onto the Izumo, which also is not a very good thing. And down went the Missouri. It looks like he got taken out by the Yamato. Now this Izumo is pretty much done for. He will go down to the secondaries of Technophile. Technophile is using manual secondaries. And yes, the Yamato does have some quite powerful secondaries with a nice range of about 10 kilometers. 10.6 kilometers. Now unfortunately he's detected here. I'm not sure if the Yamato can lob shells. Probably can. And there are the secondaries of the enemy Yamato incoming. Now he is undetected again, thankfully. Currently Technophile, yeah, doesn't have a lot of support. Now the friendly team really needs to take the center. They have currently an advantage of 1 ship. But they are losing point-wise, and it only gets worse over time. So the enemy can't just sit back and defend, and the enemy is making a pretty smart move here. They aren't really pushing this. North Carolina here is retreating, and it looks like the enemy are using radar here in order to spot Technophile. It's also possible that they want to keep the destroyer away, but I think when the destroyer is too far away anyway. So Des Moines is spotted again, and it's getting some nice hits here. And he is using his heal now. He could have done that a little bit sooner. But there's still a lot of time left, so he probably has a chance to go through all of his heals if he plays this carefully. And unfortunately that Des Moines is retreating here. Now he's currently not very well angled against the Yamato, I'm afraid. We're not exactly sure where inside the Yamato is currently. There we can see, I think secondaries are coming from somewhere around here. And there are the Yamato's shells incoming. And not too bad a hit, but it still hurt. Now he's undetected again, and he's in a pretty bad spot. He can't push against Yamato with backup. He needs his team to come in. Now his team is on the way. So there are still like almost 9 minutes left in this battle. There is no reason to rush in right now. The friendly team wants to gather up and then go in together. The friendly team also still has a destroyer left and the enemies don't. Unfortunately, the enemy Des Moines still has radar, so well, yes, it's currently on cooldown, but he is around and he could radar at some point in the future. Now this destroyer is very important because he could either lay down smoke for the friendly team so that they have an easier time making this point, or he could just force the enemies to go out, to retreat with his torpedoes. So the destroyer is pretty crucial. And the enemies don't have a ship with torpedoes left, so the enemies can't even torpedo in smoke. Technophile is going in here again. There is the friendly Missouri coming, so finally the team is in position. Well, not everybody's in position. The destroyer is a little bit behind, but the destroyer is fast. He could just come in here and provide smoke if necessary. There is a cruiser here behind him who should be in position to provide some fire support. And well, the Missouri is coming in here. Only 1 cruiser from the friendly team is not in a position to help. But that's looking decent. Unfortunately that Missouri wasn't angled well enough and got taken out. Now this is a huge deal. because now it's not looking so great anymore. The friendly team still has one more ship. But it was a huge blow. The gearing is coming in, and the gearing will probably provide smoke. Unfortunately, the other enemy battleship is also coming in here. Now there are some torpedoes, so he can at least force the enemies to retreat from the cap circle, so the friendly team might be capping now. And he is laying down a smoke screen, but keep in mind there is still the Des Moines. And as we can see from the shells here, the Des Moines is pretty close, so the Des Moines does have radar ready, and that's bad news. Because the enemy destroyer is in a position where he can't really retreat, he can't hide, he can't run. So the friendly destroyer is probably going down here against the firepower of a Des Moines. I mean, I guess he could have tried to turn around, maybe this bit of island would have protected him. And now this smoke is actually a liability, and oh, that was a big hit. Now he was well angled, but just didn't help against the enemy Yamato. Now he is detected by radar still. Soon his plane will be ready, so he can use that to spot, but nobody is spotting for him. Now the enemy cruiser here in the north, I'm not sure, maybe he wants to ambush them from behind, but he's only in New Orleans. Should probably be more like where the other friendly cruiser is behind the Yamato. Now the plane is ready, so he can spot with the plane from inside his smoke. And, well, I mean, hopefully he can get the Des Moines. It's not like a Des Moines can really angle that well against Yamato. Also, unfortunately, I mean, Yamato is a pretty big target, and if you shoot somewhere where the shells are coming from, you're probably going to hit her. Now, they can't exactly aim for specifics here, but yeah, hitting a Yamato in smoke isn't that hard if you see the shells coming. Now, the friendly cruiser here is getting close. The friendly cruiser here in the north is still moving in a position where he can fire in the center. And that's the Des Moines dealt with. Unfortunately, Technophile is on very low health. The last heal is almost ready, but the Yamato and the Friedrich are coming in here. And the New Orleans is going for it. Now, a New Orleans might not have torpedoes, but I mean, the New Orleans itself is a torpedo if you want to use it that way. So he's trying to go for a ram here. If the New Orleans manages to pull that off, that would be amazing. Now, Technophile is reversing here. He can't afford to let the Friedrich get on his broadside, or he will just get taken out. And yes, the New Orleans managed it, so it's just the two Yamatos and the New Orleans remaining. And here... yeah. Now that's unfortunate. He was pretty well angled here, but again, it's just an enemy Yamato. And now only a friendly New Orleans is remaining. And that Yamato is still way too healthy. The point difference is too big. There is no way they can do anything by capping in 3 minutes. Now we will speed up the rest a little bit. There is not much of chance of the friendly team winning. I mean, unless they get a lucky detonation. But the New Orleans here is just outclassed. Now, it was a close one. This could have easily been a win. Unfortunately, the last push didn't work out so well. A friendly Missouri got taken out with basically one salvo, and well, radar countered the smoke play and the friendly destroyer. So well played by the enemy team. They managed to hold the middle for a very long time, and they did a good job. Now let's take a look at the results. Technophile managed to get 1690 base experience. and it was a loss. Only 2 enemies performed better than he did. So he played this very well. I mean, he went towards the team, he spawned at the side where the friendly team decided not to engage. So he spent the first part of the battle getting in a good position, and then he, well, stayed and fought for the center. Unfortunately, there was nothing he could do to stop the enemy from capping, and there was never an opportunity to push. He was patient. In the end, he went in with the friendly team, and unfortunately it didn't turn out so well. But certainly well played by him. Now, Technophile earned himself high caliber. He managed to do 222,000 points of damage, and he scored 294 secondary hits. So yeah, I mean, a secondary build on the Yamato is definitely viable. When we take a closer look at the damage statistics, we can see there are like 22,000 points of damage from the secondary gun batteries and 46,000 from the fires. So in total, it's almost like 60,000 points of damage done with the secondaries. So worked out pretty well. And I mean, he was close towards the enemy to get use out of them. So I hope you enjoyed that battle, and I'll see you guys next time.